Imagine a world cloaked in white, an endless expanse of snow merging with a pale, unforgiving sky. The trees stand like skeletons, their branches heavy with ice, creaking under the weight. Here silence is not peace, but nature's indifference, every gust of wind a threat, every snowflake a potential killer. This was the true battlefield of the Second World War's Eastern and Arctic fronts, where the cold was as deadly as any enemy. The cold crept into uniforms, stole warmth, and claimed lives with chilling efficiency. Survival demanded more than courage. It required knowledge, the right tools and clothing to create a fragile pocket of warmth. Many armies misunderstood this, facing not just their human foes, but an environment of unimaginable hostility. In the frozen north, victory belonged to those who respected the cold's power. The laws of nature are absolute, unmoved by ideology or ambition. Here the price of failure was not a lost battle, but a slow, silent death, frozen into the landscape. In winter's dominion, the greatest enemy was often the cold itself. The German army that invaded the Soviet Union in 1941 was built for speed and quick victory, not for winter. Operation Barbarossa was supposed to end before the snows fell, but this overconfidence proved disastrous. As autumn turned to deep snow, German equipment failed, engines froze, artillery became statues, and soldiers shivered in thin summer uniforms. There were no stockpiles of winter clothing, no rations for the cold, and no training for survival in such extremes. Improvisation replaced preparation, newspapers stuffed in uniforms, rags wrapped around feet, and morale crumbled as the cold took its toll. Medical ignorance compounded the crisis. Frostbite and hypothermia were misunderstood and mistreated. The German army, advanced in many ways, was undone by arrogance, defeated by a foe it never truly acknowledged, the Russian winter. Nature exacted a terrible price for their ignorance. The German Jackboot, the Marschstiefel, symbolized power on parade grounds, but became a death trap in Russia. Leather froze solid, metal hobnails drew heat from feet, and the tight fit restricted circulation, perfect conditions for frostbite. Soldiers' feet turned numb, then black with gangrene. Many slept in their boots, only to find socks frozen to their skin. The jackboot, designed for European roads, was useless in snow-filled trenches at -30 degrees. This was not just a failure of equipment, but of imagination. Tradition prioritized over survival. The result? A medical crisis, with field hospitals overwhelmed by frostbite and amputations. Morale suffered as fear of the cold rivaled fear of the enemy. The jackboot story is a stark reminder. In winter warfare, every detail matters. A single design flaw can cripple an entire army. In the war against the cold, practicality is survival. Unlike the Germans, Soviet and Finnish armies understood winter's realities. Their secret? Adaptation. Soviet Valenki, thick felt boots, kept feet warm and dry, while layered clothing like the telegreka and ushanka trapped heat. The Finns used traditional garments and multi-layered systems, prioritizing function over form. Their rations, lard, rye bread, hot tea, provided the calories needed to fight the cold. Hot food was a priority, and soldiers learned to build small, efficient fires. Weapon maintenance was adapted too. Soviets and Finns stripped lubricants or used kerosene, keeping guns firing when German weapons jammed. Local knowledge, passed down through generations, proved more valuable than technology. In winter, survival depended on understanding the environment, not resisting it. The Soviets and Finns thrived where others faltered. Their advantage was simple: respect for the cold. In winter 1941, the German army's supply lines collapsed under the cold. Roads and railways vanished beneath snow, vehicles froze, and the lifeline to the front snapped. Rations arrived frozen solid, bread chopped with axes, meat needing fires to thaw, risking enemy fire. Calorie deficits weakened soldiers, making them easy prey for frostbite and disease. Fuel thickened into sludge, engines refused to start, and batteries died. Even when not fighting, soldiers struggled just to survive. Each position became an isolated island, resupply by air unreliable and insufficient. The fight shifted from conquest to survival. Just making it to morning was a victory. The collapse of logistics proved that in winter, supply is the battle. Without it, even the strongest army withers. The cold starved the German army from within. The Finns, outnumbered by the Soviets in the Winter War, turned winter into their greatest ally, with Motti tactics. They used skis to encircle Soviet units, cutting them off from supplies and letting the cold do the rest. The Finns didn't attack head-on. They waited as hunger, frostbite, and isolation broke enemy morale. Finnish troops melted into the forest, striking at will, while the Soviets suffered in the open. The psychological toll was immense. Soldiers surrounded not just by enemies, but by the hostile winter itself. The Finns controlled the battlefield by understanding it, turning the landscape into a weapon. Motti warfare proved that knowledge and adaptation can defeat superior numbers. The snow-covered forest became more formidable than tanks. In winter, the environment itself can be the deadliest force. The frozen fronts of World War II reshaped military thinking forever. Today, cold weather gear is a science, layered, moisture-wicking, and designed for survival. Modern boots, lubricants, and rations are built for the cold, and survival training is standard. But the greatest lesson is humility. Nature cannot be conquered, only respected and adapted to. Victory in the cold goes to those who understand thermodynamics, biology, and the land itself. The goal is not to defeat winter, but to coexist with it. The snow-covered battlefields remind us that nature's laws are impartial and absolute. Preparation, not bravado, is the key to survival. The ultimate test is not just against an enemy, but against the elements themselves.